Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. Today it is an honor and privilege to have Alex. He is the guitarist of Nekrogoblikon. They have a new album called Welcome To Bonkers, will be released April 13th. And we're going to be talking to Alex about that album. So Alex, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing awesome. Let's jump right into this. What's impressed or excited you the most about making the new album? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man? Possibly.
Well, the most exciting part of it was I was most excited just about the songs on the record. Nikki, who's our lead singer and kind of main writer, that's where we've been kind of more collaborative in the past. He just wrote this whole new one, and we thought every song was really strong and really fun to work with and fun to record. So it was. Just the material first and foremost was, I think, a lot more exciting for us to play, and also working with Jason Sukoff, who produced and mixed the record, was also awesome. He's done a lot of records that I grew up listening to and stuff, and so those two things combined made it a really awesome experience.
Any songs off the new album that stand out more to you than any on as of right now, possibly? I mean, I know these are like picking your favorite collectible or your child, but are they going to stick out to you, man, possibly? I would say, I mean, every song definitely has its own unique character to it, but I think the most exciting one right now for us as a whole band, I think, is Magic Spider, which is very different from the rest of the record, but a really catchy tune. Who produced this album?
Jason Sukoff.
How was working with Jason? Did he push you guys or just let you guys do it on your own, then step in? How's working with him on this?
He definitely he pushed on certain aspects on performance wise for all of us. Definitely he pushed. I definitely felt pushed more than any previous producer, and I mean that in a good way. I feel like I became a better player after working with him. And compositionally, he made some change. You know, there were a couple of things he added, but it was mostly Nikki's full vision creatively.
How long did it take you guys to record this album, Alex?
We began recording in April of last year. We got so it was kind of over time. Like we'd come in for like a month, then he'd have another project for a couple of weeks, and then we'd resume. But we got overall, the album got completed. I want to say we had our final mix was completed January. So it was a pretty long process. Began writing for it. Nikki began writing for it as soon as we finished our last tour with Ailstorm, like in late 2016. So it's been a minute.
It's been a love of labor.
Yeah.
Or labor of love, I should say.
Yeah.
Do you guys do anything differently during the writing and recording process, to maybe help keep your mind open and fresh to new stuff, to not let the music get stale? Because I know over amount of time that you guys do spend in recording studios, this can't happen. Do you do anything differently?
Nikki, when he wrote this record, I mean, he never wants to write something if he feels like it's boring or rehashed or something like that. He just, that's not his style. He definitely has to feel like he's completely engaged in what he's doing, and I feel like he's doing something unique and special when he's on every song. So that's his whole style kind of leads to never getting stale, because if he feels like something's stale, he won't write it. He won't fuck with it. So I think his overall style as a writer, but because he was the only guy writing on the record, really, I think that allowed it to just automatically, because of where his interests lie in making music, I think that already solved any potential problem of anything stale coming out.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start listening to it, or just Nekrogoblikon's music in general, Alex?
I hope they find it both entertaining, first and foremost, and why we try to make really catchy songs, and hope people both find it satisfies people's need for metal and kind of weird music, but also it can put a smile on their face.
What can fans expect at a show from you guys who have not got to see you live as of yet?
Well, it's we have our John Goblikon mascot with us, at every show, so they can expect to see that, and 5 or 6 dudes on stage having a blast, and we never take ourselves seriously on stage. It's a lot of laughing and like dumb jokes being made to the audience. Different dumb jokes every night, but all being dumb jokes. So you can expect a good time. Honestly, it's just fun. That's why we do this.
Here's another little thing too, folks, and I'll let Alex tell this. You guys are giving away a car, is that right?
Yeah, it was a little gag we did we filmed it during the making of our newest music video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, it's just this beat up car that the character drives in the video. So John Goblikon promised our audience that if we get 1 million streams in the song, then he'll give away that car, which he's convinced is a Mercedes. And I'm not one to question what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in the press release, and I was like, wait a second, but what? That's smart. That's pretty awesome if you ask me.
Thank you.
What does Nekrogoblikon bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, if anything, man?
Oh, I think it comes back to the last, what I mentioned is just kind of like, I love metal and I love, serious metal and all that kind of stuff. But, most metal takes itself a little too seriously, I think. And I feel like 80s, like especially like metal was a lot more fun, like in the 80s and stuff, when it was actually a really huge genre of music. And I think it got, and like I said, I like a lot of serious metal and stuff. And so it's not in any way dogging it, but it's kind of the overall vibe of metal takes itself so seriously, especially when you have people spending so much time perfecting their instruments and doing, it should be taken seriously to an extent. And we take our music seriously, but the general attitude is so kind of competitive and aggressive that it's not, I think our whole thing here is making metal and also catchy and fun, so that you can, memorable songs, anthemic songs, still interesting, nothing, just boilerplate, but something that people kind of latch onto because it's just fun, and it's not them trying to take themselves too seriously or let out some kind of pent up aggression against someone, but more just enjoy their lives, kind of a soundtrack to that kind of mentality.
You got to have fun with it, man, or it's going to be a job, and then when it becomes a job, that's when it's time to step away,
Absolutely.
We're living in the digital era of recording albums and plus social media. Do you guys like this, that we're, the way the genre is right now, especially with social media to reach more fans, and plus the digital era to get music out quicker? Do you like this? Has it helped you guys out more, you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the whole reason. We were never a band that was started in order to just go on tour and make it big or anything. It was enough of online discovery of it, which actually which allowed touring to happen, because suddenly it became in demand. If it wasn't really in demand, we never would have gone and done it. We all had, when this band started, the first 6-7 years of it was we all had day jobs, and we all worked at home, and we would do shows on the weekends and work on music. But it was never, this never was created in order for the sake of going out and being rock stars, So from that perspective, that like the way things are in this era are actually were a lot easier for us. Whereas a lot of bands that we tour with, they began by just hitting the road and playing in front of, very few people at a time, but just did it so much that eventually word spread around. They had to sleep on floors, and we had to go through a little bit of that period ourselves too, but not nearly as long as a lot of other bands. But that's because there's so much access to music now that you don't need it to come to you. You can find it. So yeah, I'm personally really grateful for the way things are.
And now I see where Apple iTunes is going to be closing that down. What's your thoughts on that, man? Do you think that's going to hurt you guys some, or no?
Not really, because what it really comes down to is no one's really going to pay for music these days, anyways. It's not like, like people have streaming, they have Spotify. The important thing is to be able to be accessible, and for someone who to not have to invest a lot in order to hear your music. So, if there's a band, like in the 90s and stuff, it was like in order to hear a whole record, you heard the singles on the radio, and then the only way to hear the whole album was to just go out and buy it and spend like $18 for a Tower Records. Now you can hear the whole thing, and you're not asking anyone to make a risk for you. You're offering it, and if it's really good, they'll like it, and then they'll keep listening to it and they'll come to the shows. And to me, that's a lot more of an honest way, rather than otherwise it feels like being a used car salesman, like trying to get people to make the purchase, to make the sale. Instead, because that's gone away now, it's just like, okay, well, if you make something really good, people are going to want to keep listening to it. And, people will eventually come to a show and buy merch. And, there is money there. You just have to, you can't really be a charlatan about it anymore. And I kind of like that.
Support-wise, is there a country or a location that stands out more or surprises you guys that you get a lot of support from, possibly, that you've seen over the course of time?
There's like there's always a bunch of, like, a list of cities that come to mind that I think are also just strong metal cities overall. We're in Austin tonight, and Austin's incredible. I can't wait to play tonight. And, Austin's been great. Chicago's always good. Denver's always extremely strong. Our hometown of Los Angeles, of course, has always been very supportive. Where else? Pittsburgh is great. And as far as other countries go, Canada has been very receptive to us. We've had a lot of luck in the UK and like Germany and France as well. So it's been pretty equally widespread, though. So pretty even across the board.
What made you want to become a musician, Alex? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do right there?
For me personally, I started playing I'd been playing piano like from the age of 6 on, due to just, parents making you at that age. But like when I was about 12, I think is when I started getting into like bands and like, I think I started getting into like the Offspring and Korn and all the stuff that was popular around then. Picked up the bass first and started playing guitar at 14. And, from there, discovered the heavier and heavier music and started playing and, that whole story.
If you could work with any musician that has passed away or is alive today, if you could pick anybody for a day or two, who would you choose possibly?
Tough question. I don't know that necessarily the fact that I like a musician a lot means that I'd work well with them. It's like working with another musician is such a hard thing to create a working relationship that it's like I wouldn't want to start over again with anyone else right now. I would just choose my band. It's just like, because I'm a fan of a lot of music, but just because I like it doesn't mean that I can work with the personality in the band for us to create something really amazing together. So it really comes down to that chemistry. So it's hard for me to look at it from a perspective of like, oh, I'd love to work with Devin Townsend because he's one of my favorites. I don't know that would work. I just know that I'm a huge fan of that.
True. That's true. Right there, folks. That's true. Just because you would like to work with somebody doesn't mean it's going to mesh.
You're right. Exactly.
Alex, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates? How can they do that?
Oh, well, online is probably the best way to get all your information about us. So we're on Facebook and Instagram and Spotify, all those sources. And if you're following us on any of those things, you'll see tour dates pop up. We'll be on Warped Tour this year, so that's an easy way to catch us live. So, the internet, the great internet, that's the best way to keep in touch with us.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
I can do that, yeah. This is Alex from Nekrogoblikon, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, Alex.
All right, thank you, man.